Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to this episode. And today I want to talk about the immigration crisis at the border. So sit back, buckle up, and let's get to this thing. Okay, so first of all, I want to show you a short video about the Democrats and media getting on and saying that there's no crisis at the border, that it was just manufactured. And then we'll get into the rest of it and show you how it's not really a manufactured crisis, but something that we should be a little bit more worried about.
You might even call the Democratic response manufactured.
That this is a manufactured crisis, and a crisis that manufactured by the Trump administration.
Manufactures crises.
The president has manufactured a crisis.
Final point, Steve
What
Cortez.
you just cited about criminality between native-born and immigrants, first of all, that's not true. There's a lot of conflicting studies. But even
No, there
if it were
isn't.
true,
Only
okay.
when you
no conflicting
include
studies.
the
Yes, there
illegal
are.
entry as
No.
criminality do you get the numbers where you want them.
No,
to be.
that's not true.
Yes.
That's
A genuine humanitarian and security crisis at our southern border.
yes, there are.
No
But even if
conflicting
that's fake
Not
news to say
real
there are
studies.
not. It's fake
No,
news.
It's fake news for
but
you to
if I were
inject
to-
BS and say that it's equal to the real data.
Party line is this is a manufactured crisis.
It's not
Continue.
BS. But even if I were to grant you that, okay, the point is the illegal
Doing
alien
nails.
crime rate
It's offensive, is what it is.
should be zero. It should be, you can do your nails. You know who can't do their nails? Are people who've been killed, Anna, by dangerous, known illegal aliens who've been allowed to stay in this country.
And the fact is, President Trump must stop holding the American people hostage, must stop manufacturing a crisis.
Because of the leftist policies that people like you promote in so-called sanctuary cities
I'm so
to
tired
allow
of you
them to
calling
hide
me
in plain
leftist
sight.
already.
American democracy doesn't work that way. We don't govern by temper tantrum. No president should pound the table and demand he gets his way, or else the government shuts down.
You know what? We need border security. That's what we're going to be talking about, border security. If we don't have border security, we'll shut down the government.
Well, no,
Officer
I don't have to
Singh
care.
in-
I don't
Officer
have to
Singh
care, and a
in
lot of America
California
doesn't have
can't
to care.
file his
You
nails,
love to
Anna
come in
Navarro.
here
Maybe
and
you
do
can.
ad hominem
He doesn't
attacks
have that
at me,
luxury because
at my,
he's
you know,
dead.
There is a growing humanitarian and security crisis at our southern border.
What the president is doing is manufacturing a crisis.
When I
he's dead
was
because an illegal
supporting
alien
Republican
who was
candidates,
twice arrested,
when you
who was
weren't,
a known
when you were
crime
on
member,
the rock,
was
talking
allowed-
about it.
Over the years, thousands of Americans have been brutally killed by those who illegally entered our country.
Yeah,
To
damn
stay
right.
in this
There's
country
no more
because of
progress in this. But
misbegotten
Steve,
leftist
let me just tell you
policies.
something. Get down off the soapbox. Because if you want to worry about who can file their nails, worry about who can pay their damn bills.
The shutdown could go on for months or even a year or longer. Did you say that? And is that your
I did.
Is that your assessment of where we are?
Absolutely, I said that.
This shutdown is on your head, my brother. This is what the president wanted. He has it now, and people are paying the price. And until he ends it, they won't be
And I
filing
think
their
we're getting
nails or
very
doing
close to a
anything else
deal.
that a paycheck provides.
Could be a long time, and it could be quickly. Could be a long time. It's too important a subject to walk away from.
I think we're
We
getting
gotta
very
keep
close to a
talking.
deal.
Oh, do you? Well, that's the best thing I've ever heard you say on this show. I hope you're right.
We can call a national emergency because of the security of our country. Absolutely. No, we can do it. I haven't done it. I may do it. I may do it.
I think DACA for Wall is happening. I do.
We'll see.
They're so dumb.
We have a president who will go on TV tonight and lie and lie and lie some more.
Okay, so you'll see in this first screenshot here that African migrants are flying in from Nigeria, it looks like. Yeah, Nigeria, into South America, and then walking across into Mexico and coming all the way up to the southern border to seek asylum. When in reality it's not really asylum, they're just looking for the economic opportunities. So that's number one that would make you stop and think, oh, maybe this isn't a manufactured crisis, as they want to call it, but it's actually a crisis at the border when you have people flying in from Africa to try to come across the southern border. Okay, so what makes it even a little bit more strange is you have these far left Democrats out there obstructing the funding bill for these detention centers. Looks like CBP and ICE were asking for $4.5 billion. And you have the far leftist Democrats saying that they're not going to give the money. But then you have to stop and ask yourself, well, why would they say that? Well, if you look at the next screenshot that comes up, it's AOC. And she said that she took a trip with other congressional members to one of these detention centers. And she's out there flat out spreading lies about it. And it just fits her narrative of, well, we're not going to give them money because this isn't a funding issue. This is people being treated like animals. Now, you might say that's about as far as it's going to go because we know who AOC is, and she's called for ending CBP and ICE, and she's one of these people that says she doesn't want open borders, but let's be honest, she really does. She's out there with Julian Castro saying that, you know, they want to decriminalize illegal border crossings, which is just asinine, but that's what she's about. But it doesn't stop there. You've got Cory Booker escorting 5 women across the border who were there under the Remain in Mexico policy. Essentially what that is people that speak and understand Spanish. They wait in Mexico while their asylum is being processed. Well, what does he do? He goes across and ushers them back across the border and is hiding them while he waits for their asylum to go through, which at this point could take 5 years. But it doesn't stop there either. You have Beto O'Rourke actually campaigning, doing a campaign tour in Mexico. Why? Those people can't vote. So what point is it? Well, it's just really virtue signaling, and it's empty. But they're trying to push this narrative that, you know, we need to have the borders as open as possible and just let all these people come over, which is just ignorant on their part. They know it's a failed system and that it's not going to work, but that's not going to stop them from trying. And it most certainly did not stop this Democratic Congresswoman from actually sending staffers over to aid these asylum seekers in how to lie to CBP officials in order to get in the country. So one of the lies they're trying to teach them is even after they've had an interview and they're waiting out in Mexico, that they can come back and say, oh, well, I don't understand Spanish. Well, really? Because you just understood it 5 days ago when you had your hearing and everything was, or your interview and everything was just fine. And then the other trick they were playing is they had one guy come up to CBP and claim that he had cognitive processing issues. Well, it turns out that he had a paper in his file that came from one of these this congresswoman's staff members. And the only person who had diagnosed him with this cognitive disorder was, you guessed it, the staffer. So let me ask you, Democrats and far leftists, is this still a manufactured crisis? When you look at all these things together, how can you say that this is not a problem? You know, one of the lies AOC told, and I guess I should put that screenshot back up of the news article, but one of the lies that she told was that a woman told her that she had to drink from the toilet. Okay, let me explain something to you for you guys who've never seen a jail cell or a prison cell. These detention centers are somewhat structured like that. There is a stainless steel toilet that has a back on it. At the top of the backrest is a water fountain. Now, it's highly possible that AOC just misunderstood this woman when she said she had to drink from the toilet, that what she really meant is the water fountain is attached to the toilet. And as bad as that may seem, here's the thing. Those people did not have to come seek asylum. Many of them could most likely have done so in Mexico. For that matter, they could probably even remain in Mexico while their asylum is being processed. Nobody said that they had to be in one of these detention centers. They could have went through a legal port of entry and tried, and then went back into Mexico and waited. Obviously, if AOC was speaking to this woman, she either spoke English or Spanish, and if that's the case, why was she not just hanging out and waiting in Mexico? That's a question that someone should ask her. So in conclusion, here's what I would say. We don't have this manufactured crisis at the border. It's a real crisis. You know, a lot of these children that are being held there, you know why they're being held there? Because adults tried to cross with them, and come to find out, they do a cheek swab and test for DNA. And when they test for DNA, guess what they're finding out? The kids that are coming across with these adults do not belong to the adults that they're crossing the border with. That's child trafficking. Is that a manufactured crisis? I don't think so. Anyway, guys, thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the podcast. Please, if you did, consider liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and hit that share button. Share it on Twitter with your friends. I really want to get these messages out there and try to get to as many people as possible, and this is the way that it's going to help. We really need to show the YouTube algorithms that you guys like this kind of content, and that's the way we can do it right now. Thanks for riding along, and I'll see you next time.